agenda for the Kingsbury Downtown Business Improvement District Advisory Board. It is Thursday, March 16th, and our start time is 8:03 this morning. We are open to be heard on Facebook, and we're at 100% capacity within Chamber Hall. Item number one is we're going to call to order. Members present, myself, Chairperson Leslie Carpenter, Board members Steve DeBargen, Shane Hatch, Reggie Gerke, Amanda Carrasco, Kate Lackey, and from the city, Councilmember Laura North. Absent at this time is Mrs. Cooper, but I do believe she will be joining us. Moving on to item number 2, public comment. Any public comment at this time? Okay, moving on to item number 3, social media manager proposals and possible action. I apologize for having to leave last meeting, but I did listen in my car. And I did read the 3 proposals that you received. There were 3 proposals. One was not a valid proposal because it had no monetary attachment to it, correct? And then there were 2 that were proper. And reviewing, and while we're here today, and in light of a couple of folks coming forward past the deadline that were not informed or did not hear about it prior to the deadline, expressed interest. And so we had Abigail reach out to Mr. Nolan, our attorney, and we can take action today if we choose to do so, to refuse the bids that we received and open it back up to application again.
Yeah, the second, or I guess it was like the third proposal, was also incomplete. It was just a resume. So I think, yeah, Abigail sent her a request for more details, but she's waiting because that wasn't received by deadline. So maybe she can resubmit if we.
Yeah, if you guys do reject the bids, I'm gonna reach out to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 people that were included, the 1 person that turned it in late, so it wasn't included, and then another party that came in that was interested, I will let them know that it's reopened.
Okay, and I was just recently in discussions with some people that were interested, and there is one media marketing company that, you know, they're like, your budget is something that a company can handle as well, not an individual. They just take you on as a client, and they have, you know, like a CPA, they have many companies that they manage. And so I need to reach back out to them and ask them, do they ever go out to bid? Would they be interested in bidding this thing, just to get, even if it's nothing that we're interested in, we don't want that way distant association. It'd be interesting to see what they would put forward to, you know, they do it every day.
Yeah.
So, so do we want to take action on this morning? Do we want to make a motion to refuse all the bids and open it back up? If we do, they have to be turned back in by March 29th. Abigail would notify the folks that did that and then publicize it.
At this point, I think the first action is we reject the bids. That has to be a separate motion, and so I'll so move.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, hearing none.
Okay. Now we can go.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it has to be.
Yeah, I was just giving them a timeline to know that it would be a quick turnaround.
That will be part of your guys' motion.
Okay.
That
So
information.
that is passed. So then we're going to make a motion to reopen the application process and bid process for social media manager proposal. And they need to be turned into Abigail by March 29th to be on our April 4th agenda to review.
Didn't we want to add to
Yeah.
that motion that examples of previous work? And I don't know the proper terminology, but I thought that I heard that.
Yeah, either previous work or proposed work. So like 3 examples of what it might look like,
Mm-hmm.
or past work.
And also, would we like them to be present as
I
part
think
of the
so.
application
Mhm.
process? Present
It's like
at
a job
April 14th.
interview kind of a setting. That way if we have questions, we can get further clarification.
Abigail too. So these folks come in and, we interview them and when they give us their examples that day, can we, as a board, go to a closed session to discuss them?
Closed session, that all has to be in public. Closed session's only for very specific items.
And workshops?
Like,
So, but part of the motion's gonna be that they put their work or proposed work in their bid, right? Yeah,
Right. And they are here for that meeting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because also, wasn't it in there that we would want them to attend monthly meetings to kind of recap the position?
Yeah, the expectation was to be at the board meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so in the new motion, the items that we would like to include would be 3 examples of work.
Past or proposed work or.
As a proposed, I like that because, you know,
Because it doesn't matter what they've done in the past if it's not comparable. Like, one of the people that came in, they don't create social media on their own page, they create it for clients. So if you go look at their social, you don't get really an accurate representation of the content they make because it's not on their page. But maybe they'll be able to submit something that we could actually relate to.
Attend board meetings to recap. Be present at the April 4th meeting. Good for everybody? All right, so if anyone like to make that motion with those 3 additional requests? What can you do? I would like to make a motion that we reopen the bid process for the social media manager position with 3 new requirements. First, that in their bid proposal that they provide 3 examples of past or proposed examples of their work or game plan for what they would do for us. 3, that they, that they would be present at our April 4th meeting so that we can actively interview them and discuss what their plans are. And 3, that they know that in their job description that they would be required to attend board meetings to recap social media postings and items that people within our district bring forward that they would like to have.
Second that?
First, I made the motion.
Yeah.
All second.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
Peyton
right.
said
Oh,
second,
Peyton, sorry.
yeah.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, that passes. Abigail's gonna put that in for us, and there you go.
I did have one question on that. The word interview bothered me just a little bit. I can understand if we have a question on their proposal to ask them, but it's not,
I
and
don't,
I'm not saying we need to
Yeah.
remove it from the motion, I'm just saying, we're not talking about a full interview process. in
right,
front
maybe
of
they
them.
present, maybe that's an easier word.
They present the proposal.
Are they
Proposal
available
should
for
cover the
questions?
interview questions.
Available for questions or something like that, you know, because hopefully we have the proposals before
We have
that
them in the
meeting.
agenda,
Yeah, we
right.
can review it,
Okay.
we might have a question if they're present. I mean, I just don't want anybody to think they're gonna be, you know, it's a full interview process in front of their peers. Usually when you interview somebody, you interview them on an individual basis. It was just a wording thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
We amend your,
So I'll make a motion to amend, remove the word interview, and
available for questions.
available for questioning. Do we have a second?
Second and the first.
Okay, Ted. All those in favor? All opposed?
Thank you.
That passes.
Sorry about that.
No big deal.
Pain in the butt.
We learn. We're babies learning how to do this. Okay, so possible action. I know, that you folks discussed this, at the last meeting, and there were several of us missing. Again, I apologize for missing. We had 2 dates. I know you folks voted for it. We have another bid district person that's having an event on the same day, at the same time as what we were planning. And we are within a block of each other. I just wanted us to revisit this and see, this is, really a great idea for us to do, on the same time within stereo speakers blaring at each other within that distance. And I just, you know, like, it's only gonna be like the second time that the bid's done something, and I don't want it to be controversial and disrespectful or rude. That's my only, you know, like, we have a person in our district having an event. We have 2 dates that we could do this. I am aware that the, chamber has street eats that next night.
No, it's not. The other day we were looking at in June. Streets would be June. the
And
first
that was,
Friday.
and, the other date that the instructor is available is the day before street
So,
eats,
I talked
the day
to,
after.
well, she's available on both sides. I also asked her, I thought some of the feedback I had gotten from other bid district members was doing it along with the street eat night. That way there's people in the park, it pulls traffic downtown.
Mhm.
That way it's kind of like a chamber bid thing. We get the people down here, pull them downtown, create traffic. She is available that night. The DJ we were previously going to use was not available 6/2. I reached out to another one, same price. They are available that night.
Mhm.
So basically same thing, but moving it to June 2nd. It's still usually cool. People be down there at street eats, it pulls them downtown. That was my alternative. So we're not,
Can I ask a question? Okay. It was voted on last time to have it on what date?
5/6.
May 6th.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the one where we have another bid thing going on downtown. Okay, so that, and now we're looking at, I'm sorry, I'm just confused. We're looking at June?
we're looking at the first weekend of June now. Does it have to be the first weekend? Could it be the second weekend? And the reason I asked is because graduation is Thursday, so a
The
lot of
first.
people are having parties Friday and
Yeah.
Saturday, or Sunday even. That first weekend is probably, but we could have it another weekend in June.
Yeah, I was just thinking if there's gonna be street eats downtown,
But
then
that
people
is,
are
that
out.
is a good idea. That
Street
is
Eats
the
is
same
what
day.
day?
The Friday
Friday the
first, or
second.
second, yeah.
The 2nd of June.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the thought was while people are out and about in the park, do something that will draw them from the park to downtown.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, we can, if you wanna move the trucks, chamber can move the trucks down, I mean, whatever.
The restaurateurs that I talked to, and I just talked to a couple of restaurateurs, said they get a lot of play off of street eats because people go to the park, they don't wanna stand in line, you know, boom, they'd rather, so they do well on street eats anyway. Now, you may have heard another story type of thing. So having it on the street eats night might overwhelm those because they're gonna get the overflow from the park, plus the, you know, the event downtown, people, and I don't know, I mean, I'm not a restaurateur, I'm just I wanna help, you know, type of thing. So going to a different weekend might be a positive, because then we have something else happening downtown, type of thing, in the downtown core type of thing. I don't know how the retail, if they're open during street eats, or are they open late? And I don't know if that helps them, if people coming downtown to the restaurants, do they go into some of the retail? I don't know that answer either, you know, and that's something maybe we need to research a little bit more about. I mean, you know, Jill's in the audience, has a retail, you have a retail. I don't know, have you been open during street eats?
We did stay open one street eats, we didn't have overflow. We actually had a project we're working on, so we stayed open for that.
Okay, Jill, have you been open during that street eat down in the park?
Yeah.
I mean, we have traffic.
And you do have traffic?
We have traffic when we stay open, but I can't contribute it 100% to Street Eats
Okay.
because the creamery's open and Los Pepes is open.
Right.
Like, I can't get that specifically because it's Street Eats.
Yeah, it's hard to judge,
Right.
if you don't specifically ask, gee, were you in town from Street Eats?
Well, you can usually tell if they're not local people, probably, I guess, I don't know, but you have to ask.
So that's something to consider, whether we want to do it on the same night as Street Eats, or do we want to, go to a different night and have another event that, basically in downtown area.
I have a question on the original date. I am not familiar with the other event or what it is. I don't know, but I think when we were talking last, week when we met, that we weren't sure if maybe it would complement what they're doing, but it sounds like maybe you're hearing otherwise.
It won't complement what
Okay.
they're doing.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify that,
Yeah.
the thought was,
It's a very,
maybe this will work
It's very
together.
different.
yeah, it's
But-
a very different, like, sit-down fundraiser dinner,
Gotcha.
fashion show, runway type thing.
Yeah, that won't work.
Now there you go.
Yeah, so it's like,
Putting your partner
you know,
around
putting your
the-
partner, and today we have, Juliet and baby Jonah, whatever, so it was like, oh, okay.
Never mind then. Thank you
Yeah.
for the clarification.
Yeah, that's kind of like a, all right,
Good
and,
call.
so, and I want us to, like, help support any of our district people who wanna have something, like, I want us to be there for them and help them facilitate that in any way we can. Cause that's what we're here for. Yeah, that's what we're here for, and in saying that, in the spirit of cooperation and help, I wanna work with Chamber. I would love to see Street Eats and line dancing on a Fika Friday. Let's do it. Let's try to, and so, I mean, like, Fika Friday, people were excited about it. It was like, okay, what is this? And we did it once, we need to keep doing it, and if we do it with Street Eats one time, or if we do it with a retail yard sale one for Fika Friday, Friday sale, sidewalk sale, Fika Friday, something that we just get people down here on consistently, and then if Street Eats comes on their Fridays and we partner with them, people know, because we've got to start being more consistent. So, first item is that we have to pull back the May 6th, vote, correct? So we have to do that. Secondly, then we need to decide what we want to do. And if we say that we want to do it on the same night as Chamber's having Street Eats, then I would suggest that myself and one other board member, when's the next Chamber meeting that you have?
We just had it this week, so it's gonna be, it's March, so it'll be April 11th.
April 11th.
Yeah.
Then as bid board members, we need to go to a Chamber meeting, and we need to be present, and we need to open those lines of communication so that we can actively work with them. Because, I mean, there are board members in the Chamber that think that we are not interested in that, and we absolutely 1,000% are interested in that. So I hope that they're listening.
May I jump in? I was
Absolutely.
gonna say something later, but I didn't see other listed, on the agenda. I go to both meetings. I'm your council rep for both, and so I was at the meeting the other day, and there was, one, maybe more board members that was actually asking at that meeting. And so I did jump in and say something. They were asking about, does the bid ever want to like support or sponsor or partner on any of the events? And so at that time, my suggestion was that they have a board member that comes and sits here that can more talk like to the events or public comment, and vice versa. One of you to go sit over there. Jude's at all the meetings, but one of you to go sit over there. And the reasoning that I had mentioned that is, if you're just depending on a bid member who is Reggie going back and forth, that's a conflict, because when Reggie's sitting here, he's supporting bid and he's doing the business of bid, and that can kind of get messy. I don't know if it has in the past or not, but I mean, just going to both, like that could put him in a position where he's doing chamber business at bid or
Mhm.
bid business at chamber. And so if there was a person to do that, even if it was taking turns, it would be good, like, to communicate. I'm happy to do that, like, to be reporting back and forth. I usually do a city update over there. I'm happy to do that here. But I think to open up those lines of communication, because they were asking, one or two of them were asking about partnering. So it just happened that this now
Yeah.
pops up. It would be maybe a really good first step in, you know, working together on that.
Yeah, because I don't think that there may be some new board members that aren't aware that we did help with Crayfish Festival. We sponsored the first, so we did a cornhole tournament for them, and then they helped us with, holiday kickoff, you know, we partnered with them. They promoted it for us, and they were open that day. So I don't think that I don't think all the players know that Reggie and I are talking, and we're making some things happen, and he helps us here, but we need to get more people like, oh, yeah. And like, if they have a project going on, they could call Amanda or Lauren and go, hey, do you guys think you could help us here? Or we could call them, you know, so.
I like the idea of a rolling liaison, so it's not, because their meetings are a little earlier than ours,
Mhm.
so I like the idea of, like, kind of an
Yes,
assigned.
they're at 7.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind the early
Yeah.
game, so I mean, it's not the.
You go, Leslie.
And-
Yeah, I'm almost an empty nester.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get off the topic here, but I think we've always talked a lot about, we have a lot of people, and I'll, as a bid board member, say we have a lot of people that are not happy or don't understand what's going on with the bid.
Right.
And when I switch hats to put on the chamber one, we have the exact same thing in that situation. So it's always been my encouragement that if you're not sure what the other one's doing, the best thing to do would be to, you know, show up and find out what they're doing. So, that, not only for the membership within that, but I think between the two boards, it's a very good idea to have those open channels of communication anyways, because ultimately, we're trying to do the same thing.
Mhm. Yeah. We're trying to share your plate, that everybody expected you.
Yeah.
Everybody expected the chamber to do everything for them downtown. Well, that's not possible.
Not possible for bid either,
It's
but
not
together
possible
we
for
can get
bid,
closer.
but we can do it. We can do this, you know, and ultimately, both entities' goal is to make downtown amazing.
Mhm.
It's actually in the chamber's contract with the city to support bid,
Mhm.
Yes.
and for you guys to work together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the meeting that I went to the other day, the feeling was that was a wanted thing,
Yes,
like, to work
and
together.
it has been the whole time, so.
Yeah.
And I know Leslie and Steve have both been to a couple of chamber meetings too, so,
Mhm.
over the last couple of years, so.
Yeah.
Well, June's there every time, so.
Yeah. No, I went
Yeah,
not
but-
too long ago.
So she always speaks on behalf of bid when it comes up to.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to rescind the line dancing, support from bid on May sixth.
Second?
To June 2nd.
No, we're
No.
just straight up
We're just
canceling
rejecting
that.
it. Change.
Then we'll have a
Nothing.
discussion on when to read.
Okay.
All those
I
in
thought
favor?
it should be.
I need a second. Oh, wait, who's second? Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. Action.
And you know, as far as reassigning this to June, not June, but June the month, you know, this is basically being headed up by, you know, Peyton and family. You know, I kind of want to defer to them. I mean, you said both of those dates are available for all the vendor,
Yeah, so we have all of our bases covered in that, in terms of who's there and what's going on. The DJ, the instructor, Tom Hensley offered his trailer as a stage again. So all of that is taken care of on
for
either,
both days.
for June 2nd or June 3rd. We had talked last time about, you know, graduation on the 1st, something on the 2nd, something on the 3rd could be a lot, which I understand. We can move it later in June. I don't know their availability off the top of my head. I do know because I've asked them prior to this about the 2nd and 3rd. Steve makes a good point about possibly overwhelming them. I think having the porta potties part of the approval that we did last time would help alleviate some of that. And I also think giving businesses some notice
obviously it's March, hey, in June, we're doing something. We've done it before, people know there's a lot of people, especially with street eats. I think that heads up might also help them, like, oh, look, there's gonna be a lot of people in town this night. Might be helpful, and we know everyone's available, and it's within our budget that we approved, so I think, I'm just kinda curious if it would be like a good chamber and bid kind of kick off things and see if we can pull those people downtown into shops and into things, and then it gives our retail like, hey, look, line dancing is next week, do you have your outfit? You, Michelle, just posted those cute boots, like, come get your boots for line dancing, or like, come get a cute graphic tee. I'm just kind of curious to see the two of them working together, how beneficial it would be in this capacity. So,
My only fear of going on the same night and going to the chamber board and asking for approval is, now we're waiting another full month when you're talking about, bands and, you know, DJs and whatever, waiting until April till we get the blessing from the chamber board is, you know, some of these get booked, you know, I just don't want you to lose your.
They're like pre-booked right now, basically, right? I mean,
yeah,
they're like,
they know,
they could do it.
yeah, they know the date, they kind of have it on.
But if the chamber board says no, we
Right.
would really prefer you go to the following week. Now, they may not be available at that point.
Another good thing about that first weekend, if you do it like this, is that it's 2 weeks after Swedish Festival, and that sounds like a good time because everybody comes downtown for car show, Swedish Festival. They're like, we need to come downtown
Yeah.
more often.
Kind of a
So it's a good,
consistent-
like, it's a good callback, yeah.
Yeah,
I think if you go later, it just gets hotter.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
probably then people start vacation, so that's
Yeah.
why if it's
School's out,
already
people are
something
just
happening
preparing.
that day.
and the DJ, I had told him probably, what is the city time you have to cut things off, 10? Is that when like
I
city
don't
has
think
to
you
cut
can
and-
ask for more,
Yeah.
you can ask for permission on that, application.
No curfew.
But,
It's
like,
something about this, they're
music
on
has
that
to be
thing,
off
yeah.
at 10 or something.
I think it says 10 o'clock, like
Yeah.
amplified music.
I
think I had
So you can like ask
Part of
on there,
that, okay.
right,
I don't know.
permission or whatever.
I think we ran
I
into that
defer
before.
that to Adam, I don't know.
I think to,
Oh, that's so fun.
Oh, that's a
Like-
good idea. Oh, that's,
it sounds kind of like the consensus is to maybe do this. We can make a motion and pick a date and move forward with it contingent upon if the chamber board has any issue with it. And I can go back and have those conversations sooner than later, so we can move forward with it. Then that way, if anything does change, we have our meeting on April 4th that will be here, that we can make that, that's a whole week before the chamber meeting.
Yeah.
So I think the chamber can accommodate that conversation in advance to avoid the delay.
Could we run Dollar that night, Dollar the trolley that night?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Laura made a
Well,
good
yeah.
point and said that that's the first day of summer break too, so we could kind of almost call it like a kickoff to
Like
Summer
summer
kickoff.
a
kickoff,
summer kickoff.
instead
You
of
don't have
the
no
opposite of
school.
holiday kickoff.
That was kind of the goal with why we picked that day for the chamber.
Yeah.
So, talking on behalf of the chamber here, that day was chosen because all of the graduations are done, everybody's been doing all of this stuff, probably had a bunch of family in town, and it's been a really long week already, so now you don't have to worry about cooking, now you don't have to worry about cleaning up afterwards, come down and hang out at the park Friday night. You know, make life a little easier for yourself. And it's payday, yeah. And why not wander downtown and do some line
That's
dancing?
on Saturday. the
Friday.
This is
Friday,
Friday the
Friday.
second.
Friday the 2nd.
Yep.
And, okay, so are you making a motion?
Motion to move it to June 2nd, to look at chamber.
For the chamber.
Yeah.
Reggie, would you like one or two of us to go and speak with
I'm more than
chamber?
happy to go too.
Okay, but it'd probably be, Peyton knows more about the logistics of it, so it would be nice. When I find out when we can get together with enough people to have a conversation, I can let
Yeah,
whoever know.
yeah,
Yeah.
send us an email. I'll be there.
Or you tell Abigail, and then she could tell us all.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's what I'll do.
Did your motion also contingent on the cooperation with,
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
I thought it did.
yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion from Peyton that we're going to move, line dancing to June 2nd with the contingency that we have a conversation with Chamber in the spirit of cooperation.
Posted Yeah, until summer kicks off,
Yeah,
in conjunction with street.
with Street Eats.
Yeah.
Have a second? And all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Action passes. Hi, Kip. Any other business, it's not on here, but any
It's
other?
because it's a special meeting, that's why there's
Never mind.
no other business or reports
All
from
right,
board.
we can-
I'm like,
we
oh.
can.
I'm
All right,
talking right now.
Okay,
We need to have that on all of our agendas.
all right, so we're gonna adjourn at 8:33.